think
Okay.
it's recording something.
Okay, great. Yeah, so, and why, so a question we have is, for those that, since now we just started recording, Google of cryptos is the question, and why I must have this Google of crypto. My video have problems, sorry, that's no problem. As long as you can hear us, that's great. So yeah, the Google of crypto thing was kind of made by influencers in 2017, 2018. I mean, a couple of them referenced, you know, the Google of cryptos or whatever. I can't remember the exact phrase they used, but essentially because Nebulas in the white paper talks about page rank and how it can correlate to blockchain data as well, a lot of people started to think of it as Google of blockchain, but that's not technically the case. I mean, that was like just what somebody threw out there. But yeah, the real definition of that is just because for Nebulas Rank to work, it needs to index people's addresses, which is similar to what Google uses for their ranking system, Google PageRank. Why do you need to have the crypto? Well, why have any crypto? I mean, it's a bet on the future. Where's the world going to go? We're definitely seeing the world being pushed to new directions, new ways, and without a doubt, in my opinion, one way that we have to go is decentralized economies, decentralized ecosystems, decentralized virtually everything, decentralized technology. We can't rely on sole companies to hold data, to always be there, be reliable. We need to have systems where we can be reliable ourselves. And so crypto is more about freedom for people. And when I say crypto, I should really say blockchain or decentralized ledger technology. There's so many out there. Each one of them offers something unique. And so it's important to think about what decentralization means to you and what projects fit what you believe will be the future. And, you know, for the people watching this, I'm hoping that Nebulas is one of those projects they believe is going to be the future of, well, you know, part of the internet, part of our new world. And, you know, as I mentioned earlier, you know, decentralized apps on Nebulas will reward users, which I think is a great advantage for those that want to create these type of new projects. I mean, compared to Ethereum, when you pay $30 for fees, it's crazy. And Nebulas is infinitely faster and infinitely cheaper. And you know, some people argue, yes, but it's not decentralized as Ethereum. Well, yeah, that may be the case, but it's a lot more decentralized than many other projects can or ever will be, while retaining all the positive things that Nebulas has going for it.
And we were discussing about like giving back something to the community, and the idea is setting up a node that people can delegate their NACs to, and instead of paying back the investors, we're going to use part of those funds to fund like small operations, because currently a lot of ideas go through the whole proposal process, which has a lot of overhead. Like if you have an idea, like a marketing idea or like small things, there is no need for those little operations to go through the whole proposal process. It's no need that all the node operators need to vote on it. And we are thinking of setting up a single node that can act much faster and much quicker. Community would have to delegate, like people that like the idea of expanding the Nebulas universe, they can delegate their NACs to this node and basically fund those marketing expansion operations by delegating their NACs, and in a way, like not getting paid back, but getting paid back by getting more exposure in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Some more questions.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to add, so as some of you may know or may not know, there's actually a community fund that is available and literally funded by the community, and also Nebulas founder Hitters Zoo also contributed to it. And so Part part of the funding for this new node will come from this fund as well to help support it. And so the primary thing that the community will have to contribute, though, we're hoping for, is NACs, and also just interest and actually wanting to do something with Nebulas, not just sit on the sidelines and hope your investment does something, but get hands-on. We need to encourage more of everything, more involvement. What about Tor project? Are you still with users? Well, we still have a community. There's a big Eastern community, and we're trying to build a larger Western community. It's the metrics are sometimes hard to really identify, but the network is working. We have live community operating nodes. This past month, actually, we have 100% community operating nodes, no nodes managed by the Nebulas Foundation, except for the Nebulas Technical Community node, but that's something a little bit different. So it shows that there's interest in Nebulas, and people are willing to delegate to nodes. One thing, people are willing to operate nodes. People do see that Nebulas is decentralized and just all these good things. So it gives a lot of credit to the system, seeing that it's now a community operated ecosystem, and even with full governance by the community. No one person can manipulate the results. Like you see, like with EOS, for example, people thought that was going to be amazing, this great thing, but no, it's not. We've seen collusion, we've seen everything bad, we've seen hacks, you name it, it's been there. And so it's nice to see that Nebulas hasn't really had, it's been not slow going, but step-by-step iterations that have really built it to where it is today and prepared for the future with full community involvement. Yeah. And another question, we have many scam projects in the cryptocurrency world. Yes, we do. Yeah. And what everybody needs to do is decide their level of risk is one thing, obviously, and to really examine a project. When I learned about Nebulas, I spent hours, days even, learning about it. I even wrote a big article sharing the white paper in a simplistic form to the community, and I believe it helped a lot of people, and it really showed the reason for Nebulas to exist, and that still exists today. Yeah. Okay. Anything else there?
We need more people to ask questions.
Yeah.
Where are they? Probably everybody was scared of like joining a video conference. No need to be shy, guys.
Yeah. Well, next time maybe, hopefully. Let's see. We got another question here. We have about 8,000 cryptos in the world. Yep. Yep. Most of those, though, are just forks of existing projects or some ERC20 tokens. Those, I don't know. How do you define a crypto project? Do you consider ERC projects completely based on Ethereum crypto projects, or are they just applications running on Ethereum? It gets a complicated question to ask. And when you have code forks like BTC versus BSV, I mean, it's a fork of the original project. It's like, yeah, it's a crypto. It has its own blockchain, but what purpose does it serve? What is its future? What its following going to be? How are people going to be using it? Let's see. Another question. And how possible searching these projects? Okay. So from reading the white paper, I'm sure you got that question. Dave, do you want to answer that one, or?
Oh my God, that's gonna be a tough one. Like, maybe for the people that are watching this video, I'm just one of the community's members that is not associated with like the core team. So like technical questions are gonna be a bit hard for me to answer, but
I can help.
Well, we have Nebulas Rank that gives value to all those smart contracts and all this stuff that is out there, but like technically I have no clue how that's going to play out and how we are going to make use of that. Yeah, it's
Hey, some. Oh,
more people are joining.
yeah, it's great to see. Hi, everyone. So yeah, that is a good question about the searching. And so the plan is that with, as Dave mentioned, Nebulas Rank, by using Nebulas Rank, we can see what projects, or what, I shouldn't say projects, but what smart contracts on Nebulas and even other chains such as Ethereum are being utilized. Because to find a project, there needs to be utilization. And so by correlating this utilization process along with Nebulas Rank, we can find these new decentralized applications that exist on different chains, which allows us to create an index. And so this index will be searchable by other users at some point, and then they can learn more about the application and give it a try themselves. Yeah. How about switching?
For the new arrivals, we're just kind of doing a question and answer back and forth right now. Going great. So if you have any questions, just shoot them at us, I guess.
Let's see, one question there says, the Google of crypto must have the security information about each crypto, in my opinion. The Google of crypto must have all of the information about any project in the crypto world. Well, that's interesting. The problem is that there's a lot of data. And so, I mean, you look at systems like Google PageRank or Google system of searching, they don't have all the data. They have what they need to search, to index, to rank, to review. But it's not like they keep everything ever created. I mean, there's projects like the Wayback Machine. There's even a couple of blockchain projects looking to achieve basically storing the entire internet on the blockchain. But we don't need to store everything. We just need enough information to index, and those indexes need to be updated daily or weekly or whatever is needed. Maybe at some point it might be hourly. As far as security, the security information about each crypto project, that is an interesting thing. I mean, we're talking about not just ranking applications on projects then, we're actually talking about ranking the project themselves. And I don't know if that's Nebula's place to actually rank a project, like a blockchain. I believe we can provide information about specific projects, but not give it a security rating, for example. That to me does not seem logical, because we don't know what the future holds. We don't know what's crushing bug there'll be in one of the blockchains. It's just too many, in my opinion. The other question, other blockchain can do this, like Etherscan or Tron or other, but I think your project must have a big thing. So you're saying other projects can rank, but they're not. That's the purpose. That's the point. Nebulas is trying to do something different. Must have a big thing, but I think your project must have a big thing. So it just depends on what your idea of a big thing is. Is it right now? I think we do have a lot of good things going for us. The decentralization process has gone very smoothly. The community governance process has gone very smoothly. It's all controlled by the community. There's a lot of good things going on. Big thing for 5 votes.
I jump in here. I think one of the things that would help a lot of people is showing them around and showing what this means, like the proposal process, like what's going on there. We keep talking about it. We keep talking about the community. We keep talking about voting and NACs and all those very basic concepts. And I think a lot of people out there have no idea how this whole ecosystem operates and have no idea about its inner mechanisms. But maybe this like content for a future video, it's like gonna be hard to show everything here within a couple of minutes.
That's true. Yeah, what you can definitely do is check out the Nebulas Medium page, medium.com/nebulasio, and there is a ton of articles there. Whenever there's a new launch, there's articles about it, where there's article showing how to make quality proposals, articles explaining the proposal process, you name it, it's there. There's a lot of articles, a lot of information to go through. Hey, Mark, it's no problem.
G'day, guys. Sorry, it's
Hey
just
there.
a bit early here in Australia. I just woke up. I wasn't aware the meeting was on, but thanks for organising.
It's just like a test run. I'm very happy that you made it, joined it. Let's hope that we have more of those meetings in the future.
Yeah, looks good. Looks looks like a good format. You guys are coming through loud and clear as well, so I think the test is successful. I was a bit unaware. I only saw just a chance that I sort of logged in this morning to see that. So yeah, it's just I suppose as long as people have got enough notice to sort of prior notice so they can join in would be key as well, just to make sure that people are aware that the calendar invites out with enough notice so they can join in. Would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What time is it
which
now
I'm sure
in
we'll organise.
Australia? Where are you based?
Sydney, 6:30,
Oh my God, that's
roughly.
rough.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's just a couple of glasses of red wine last night, you know. After a long day of golf, so life's tough.
Oh, we feel for you, Mark.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, from now on, you know, if we're going to make this a thing, we're definitely going to, you know, post this on Twitter and make sure the community has a bigger leadway to know that these things will happen. There were a few other people that were going to try to join us, but that didn't happen. That's to be expected, though. But yeah, hopefully in the future we'll see more activity.
Yeah, well, it's good that you guys have got this off the ground. I think I mentioned this about a month ago as well on the node operators forum, and I sort of thought that you know the team, given they have all the email addresses of all the node operators. So I mean, this is for more general community, but I'm not sure whether the same mechanism would or not work, would or not work. But I know when the team sends out a notification that you've been selected as a governance node, you know, and that sort of thing, you get those emails, and if they could use that same mechanism potentially for setting up meetings, just to say, okay, this is the meeting invite that's going out, you know, and then people could then slot that in their calendar as well. So that I see that mechanism seems to work just for you know, some node communications. Not that there's a lot of it. Having said that, people might be nervous about giving Nebulas their emails or details. I'm not sure, but I mean, they shouldn't be. They can just create their own email if they wanted to. But yes, I'm not sure whether there's potential to use that type of mechanism as well, where there'd be that sort of official email comms that would come through that type of channel would be good, even if it was just for node operators. Yeah, because I know the node meetings, the node operator meetings have been a bit sporadic as well. And I mean, not that we need lots of meetings, I suppose, but if they had a regular session booked in every bi-monthly or something like that for people to get together, they could then use that same email channel mechanism they use as part of the governance to send out some comms potentially. So
yeah,
I'm just documenting everything here. Some great suggestions.
yeah.
Like Quarash had some ideas as well. I'm just gonna copy and paste them. Like more activity on Twitter, more exposure on YouTube. I can fully agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna
Right
collect
now.
this stuff. So one of the ideas I had was like you guys know Trello, right? We just put it on here and we start a Trello board and people could like grab one of those cards and start working on it. And I don't think this has to be like core Nebulas team. This can also be in the community in some cases. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, I mean, that's what the core Nebulas team wants. They want the community to really take charge and really get involved with the system. And
Yep.
the reason why we don't see much information like on Twitter and whatnot right now is because they're focused on development. They're not focusing on letting everybody know every little thing going on, for better or worse, honestly. It'd be nice to have more communication, but it's also nice to get things done faster.
Yep, that makes sense as well.
Yeah. So that's a balance.
I suppose like
we're not there yet.
Yeah, look, it's just interesting how some of these newer sort of coins like YFI and a few of the other ones, Polkadot have come up. They're like, I'm not sure how large their communities are, but I'm assuming they're pretty large, and they seem to be sort of spreading like wildfire. How we what it takes to get that sort of engagement from people, how they sort of rolled it up from a nothing up to something of quite a lot of substance. And I think Polkadot's been around since 2017 as well, so they've only more recently sort of gained fame and fortune, I suppose. But so it's just interesting if there are any of those where we can take some examples and learnings from what those tokens did.
So definitely, I agree. I mean, like Polkadot, the reason why we're hearing about it now is because they just had their mainnet launch. They've been working on it this whole time, and to be honest, Polkadot hasn't shown that it's worth the value it is at this moment. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. YFI, that's an interesting thing. Instead of talking about Wi-Fi, I would like to just mention that Nebulas, it's gonna go into DeFi route as well. I mean, that's what the whole process is right now. The development process is. It's just getting DeFi going and also making interoperability work. And so once we get those two things going, hopefully we'll see our own explosion of token system on Nebulas, and also a Uniswap based system is going to be on Nebulas, and
which one?
Like a Uniswap like system.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I mean, it all sounds great. Can I just jump in and just ask there, how long has this been on the roadmap for? Because it seemed to have just come out of left field. There hasn't been a lot of discussion about it. Is it a more recent pivot, or is it something that's been in the background for the last 6 or 8 months? I mean, or however long since the last milestone was finished. I suppose they needed to wrap up that pod decentralization. So there wasn't any, I suppose, clear communication that the next thing was going to be DeFi. So I'm assuming this is a more recent pivot. Is that right? Or what's your take on it?
Yeah, as far as I understand it, that is my take on it. It is definitely a I don't want to say pivot, but just following. I don't want to say even following the where the other projects go, but it's just like we see everybody sees the huge potential in DeFi, and beyond just these random tokens that are worth $30,000 like YFI, but actually making a decentralized ecosystem where anybody can bring tokens in from other projects onto Nebulas and trade them there. And so that right now is the focus. This has been in the works for a couple of months, as far as I know. What was the roadmap launch? It was launched early August, I believe. So they're a couple of months in.
Yep, cool.
Yeah, they were working
that's great.
Before.
I mean, it all sounds awesome. And I suppose the other thing was that I think Hidders might have mentioned it in a recent post on Telegram, but it's just finding that niche for us as well. So when you look at some of the other coins, I mean, even that file coin that Hidders actually once mentioned in a meeting to us as well, and they've sort of got cloud infrastructure. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but their niche is sort of that cloud AWS infrastructure blockchain type scenario. And there's gee, I'm just trying to think of the couple of the other coins as well, but they've got pretty specific target markets that they're aiming at, which is good or bad. And I think part of the strength and weakness of Nebulas is that it is nebulous in that it's at the moment it's pretty vast. It's doing everything, and I think the team's done a great job in the build they've done. I don't think it's properly recognised in the blockchain community because they've sort of delivered everything they said they would. And you know, as you just mentioned before, that particular coin, it's just gone live with their mainnet. Well, and Nebulas did that a couple of years ago, and they've got everything decentralized. It's all working. It's all robust. You know, there's never been a glitch that I've experienced with anything at all. So I think their build has been pretty impressive, and I don't think it's properly recognized out there at the moment. But it might be because it is, and Nebulas is that app name because it is sort of all encompassing and everything, and maybe we don't have that. That niche or focus at the moment, and maybe it's DeFi. Maybe if we can get that interoperability going, and it'll be that channel that sort of connects everything. That maybe that's our niche. But yeah, so I think that's a question that I've got is that what's our thing? And I think the team was talking about that as well. So yeah, sorry, I'm waffling on now, but back to you.
Great. Dave, do you have anything to add to that, or I don't want to? If you have any thoughts, I don't want to take them.
My major problem is that I'm like not native in English, so I can
Okay.
follow the
Okay.
conversation, but it's a bit tricky for me to participate.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
level.
So yeah. Yeah. So you know, Mark, you're talking about we need to find that niche, and yeah, that's absolutely right. That's what every project needs is just that one little niche. And so, you know, you read the Nebulas white paper in 2017 and the things that were said in there, Nebulas Rank, Nebulas Force, Nebulas Incentive, all these things, these were niche things. And as time has gone on, development has gone on, it's like, you know, we had a rough 2018, 2019 time and lost a lot of community because people got so burnt in crypto that were early in crypto that, you know, I don't want to say early in crypto, but got in at that time and they just got really burnt. And so they kind of just left. And so who cares about Nebulas Force or Nebulas Rank, what we need when they're down $20,000, $50,000. That's the only thing that people are thinking. They're not seeing the long-term system. And so when we talk about the niche, I do believe DeFi is an important part. And honestly, what I'm hoping to see is not just DeFi, but DeFi that also works with Nebulas Rank. And so we can look at projects on other platforms, Ethereum projects, migrate the ERC20 token over via interoperability, and then maybe we can rank them on Nebulas, and then use some sort of DeFi system right on Nebulas with the Nebulas rank. So that kind of like is like a we see all these farming systems, kind of like it's showing people where the next gold mine's going to be, if you want to say that, or you know, just where to be focusing their attention. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. The other thing as well is that I noticed that, well, initially going back a couple of years, there was a lot of talk about you know, strategic connections with other companies and that sort of thing. We don't really have a lot of that at the moment. I don't see any new partners, strategic partners coming on board. I'm not sure whether things are being worked on in the background. I think that'd be pretty important. But again, that's, yeah, again, if the core team's just focusing on that build, I suppose they're leaving it to the community to develop strategic partnerships. I don't know whether the community has the you know, the collective to go out and develop strategic partnerships. So yeah, what do you feel about, you know, those types, that strategic partnership route as well.
Yeah, so I can't speak for, you know, for the team, for the core team, but I believe partnerships are important, but they have to be beneficial both ways. And
Yeah.
during 2018, we saw, you know, constant partnership announcements after announcement after announcement. It was like almost weekly we saw these partnership announcements, but like it was like Nebulas is going to be doing this for them, but what are they doing for us? What are we getting in return? Are they actually going to be using our chain, or what's actually happening? And so unfortunately, a lot of those projects, I think they realized themselves that, well, maybe we should just work with Ethereum, or maybe we need to create our own chain. And you know, those type of things are never really discussed, because honestly, nobody really knows what happens to it. It's like during late 2018, Nebulas made a foundation for I'm trying to remember what it was called, but basically a group where all these blockchain projects can come together. And I mean, it looked like that was going to do something, and there were even some AMAs and some meetups with a bunch of core leaders of all these teams, but nothing ever developed. So that tells us that maybe there's just these types of announcements. They really don't amount to anything in the end. They don't offer any intrinsic value to the platform, to the system after a certain amount of time. And so the team, I mean, if a project comes along and says, I want to build something on Nebulas and I want to do it now, and I'm sure the team Nebulas would be behind them as long as they see that there's true value in it. The latest, there was a couple recent proposals that are actually projects now, and so one of them was the Godot development game engine on Nebulas, and so now we have the Godot game engine integrated with Nebulas, and so anybody creating games on Godot, I know it's not that well known, but it's getting very, very popular, and if I'm not mistaken, with the first blockchain system that works with them. And so to me, that's really exciting that we can see possible games on Nebulas. And just the last couple weeks ago, the community also voted to actually develop a full game using the system, using the Godot game system with Nebulas. And so that's in development right now. I've been talking to the developer. He's going on. He's going strong. He has a team behind him. And so, yeah, we're moving ahead. And so
can I ask you a question? Oh, sorry, you keep going.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say, and so do you consider that a partnership? I mean, to me, that's absolutely a partnership. We partnered with this developer, where he's getting something in return. We're getting a game built on Nebulas. Hopefully we can even get it, like on the Steam store and other types of game stores like that. And to me, that's a partnership worth pursuing.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, touch on that, the developer, like what's our mechanism for engaging developers? Because I don't know if we've got a lot of devs out there, but yeah, I mean, how do we get more of them to build more things on there? How do we get a bit of a backlog of things that we want to build and then get them through into development? Are we relying on paying developers, which I think is a good idea? I mean, it's really money well spent. So how, in that particular example, how did that come about? And could you just elaborate a little bit on that? And then how, if that model works, how do we then leverage that and then scale it out to build a few more things as well?
Yeah, definitely. So specifically with Godot, so I proposed this, I don't know how many months ago, and it got approved. The entire governance committee approved it 100%. It was great. It took couple of months to find the proper developer. I was contacted by a few people, and like they were like, nope, this guy, I don't think he could do it, or this person could do it. And then I was contacted by this person that literally knows blockchain in and out, knows Godot in and out, has experience, and he was just the perfect candidate. And the way he found out about it is I can't remember the website name. There's a specific website where you can post game-based jobs. I also posted it on a Reddit page and a couple other places. And so I just kind of got it out there as much as possible. And then he contacted me to get more information, and we just made it happen. So I hope that answers that question. I think the main reason why that worked is because it was very targeted. We knew what we wanted, and it was just a matter of finding the right having the right developer find us after getting it into the right places. Of course, the money doesn't hurt. Money solves all problems. The more we offer projects, the easier it's going to be to find developers. But we can't go broke doing it.
Yep.
That's an important part.
Yeah.
Kurosh mentioned something interesting as well, that is nothing technical, but more like a human soft factor, and that's emotions. Emotions about getting involved in Nebulas, getting excited, like regularly getting tweets out there, getting interaction, getting people like wanting to participate. And it's just like an interesting thing, because I think a lot of people from the community, they're kind of getting tired, I guess, or losing their hope, losing patience. We saw a lot of trolls in Telegram channel. I think early investors that lost a lot of money, that got burned, and they're just spreading so much misinformation and hate, and I think that's scaring away people. And I think Kurosh is absolutely right, that we need to get some more positive vibes out there, and like get a good feeling going for Nebulas. When people hear Nebulas, they need to think, well, that's going to be awesome. We're going to build like a universe here. We need spaceships. We're going to discover planets and stuff. And I think that's kind of vibe that we need to get going. I fully agree with him.
Yeah, I agree as well. It is a little tricky, like you mentioned, people that invested early. I was one of them, lost, down with Nebulas, but that's okay. Just keep going. Those people that we see complaining, they have an opportunity. They can get in there, they can do something, but they choose just to complain. And what I've seen on Twitter has been those people, like every time you try to post something positive, sometimes those people just come back and bite you in the ass, and it's a pain point. It's a painful thing. I mean, you push these things out there, all these exciting things, and it's like, hey, when moon, like, I don't know. Nobody can tell you that answer. We're focusing on building something, not just when you're going to profit. That's not Nebulas's purpose.
I've noticed that as well, like on Reddit, and I think it's like a single guy or two that are just creating so much negative vibes, and it's terrible how much destruction they're creating for the whole ecosystem. But I saw you posting there as well, and you are doing an awesome job there by like putting out counter statements and explaining things, and like proving that those guys are not right. Which is great. We cannot let that stand, I think, and like let those guys scare away people from the project.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I totally agree. At the same time, I also believe everybody has a right to share their opinion, and so people are welcome to. I'm hoping welcome to act civil as while they complain. I mean, not just be complaining and being rude. That is a different story, and so that's why a few of those people, they haven't gotten banned on Reddit, because most of the time they're not abusive. But once they're abusive towards the community or other people, then we get rid of them. But complaining is fine. Complaining shows a problem, but it's more important if these people complaining can actually show solutions. And so that's what we're looking for, people that can have solutions. Like you, Dave, you set up this meeting today. That's awesome. I mean, you're contributing to the community. You see a hole, you're filling it. This is what we need. So yeah, thank you for this generous offering of you, and this is what we need more of.
It's going great, right? This is kind of
Yeah.
exciting. I think this video, we're recording it. I think we're gonna put it or parts of it on YouTube, and it's like we can reuse it as the marketing material to get people excited and involved. And if we keep doing this, I think it's self-fulfilling cycle or positive backloop, uh, back loop.
Feedback loop.
Yeah, feedback.
Feedback,
Feedback.
that's what I'm looking for, exactly. And this will, I'm just trying to get the community started and involved. And if everybody, it's like, I'm gonna do just like a tiny little thing for Nebulas. It only needs a fraction of the community, and we will outnumber the core team, and we can get so much stuff done. And that's what I'm trying to achieve here. And I think this is a start here. Let's see where this journey heads to, or yeah, where we will end up.
Hey
Yeah,
guys, I've got to
yeah,
jump
definitely.
off. My wife's just come back as well from her morning run, so I've just got to go and catch the kids and all that sort of thing. But thank you as well. I'll catch you in the next one, and yeah, really appreciate all the work you guys are doing. So thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you for
Thanks,
joining.
Mark.
Good.
Yeah, appreciate it always. So the question is essentially why Nebulas versus, as far as an investment versus projects such as Link and Ripple? Well, that's a good question. And if you look at CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, I think the answer is obvious as far as a financial investment. Link's what, number 4 on the list? Ripple's number 3 or somewhere around there, those two. And so where's the money really to be made with those projects as far as a financial incentive? They're already at a high point. And especially, I personally tend to look at just Satoshi value of projects because everything honestly is based off of Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up, projects go up, Bitcoin goes down, projects follow, and usually more, unfortunately, follow a deeper decline. So people need to learn about Nebulas. They need to learn, like you said, you read the white paper for Koresh, which is excellent. And so it sounds like you made an investment, and so happy to see that. So why did you make an investment? Did you make it just on the hopes of Nebulas going up, or did you understand the technological features? I mean, there's a lot of them. Let's see. It might. So right now, what Nebulas is bringing to the community or investors, whatever you want to call them, doesn't matter, is a easy to use ecosystem. It's one of the easiest chains to develop on because it uses native JavaScript. There's a few projects that do that, and even the ones that do are extremely slow. I believe, I'm not even going to name names, but they're much slower transactions per second because usually JavaScript-based systems are slower than programming languages closer to the base. And so like Solidity is a good language, but it's shown time and again to be a little bit difficult for new beginner and intermediate developers to work with. And that unfortunately has resulted in catastrophic losses for some people. Hundreds of millions of dollars by now have been lost because of small bugs in these smart contracts. And so Nebulas really does allow for easier development because of JavaScript. That's to me, a really big piece. The next thing that you need to think about is the infrastructure. Nebulas has a full infrastructure already built. It's like not this brand new thing. It's been built for years now. Has been built for years now. And so, we got the full network is decentralized. We have a full governance system. Anybody can submit projects on it and even work on projects. And so I think it's important to realize that even now, Nebulas is capable of giving incentive to the communities, to the entire community. More people just need to take advantage of that at this point. And so the main features is that Nebulas actually works, and Nebulas is easy to develop on, and it is a chain built for the community instead of the miners, for example, on Ethereum and whatnot.
And the community can participate and like take control as well by writing proposals and yeah, defining where this project is heading to. It's like I think of it a little bit of Linux, like in the early days, where one guy starts to develop and it start to branch like into all kind of spheres. And I think in crypto world, Nebulas could be that thing as well and run on for or become the solution for so many things. Because yeah, community is in charge. There's not one single person that has a lead, if you want so, which can be very confusing for people that arrive to this project and want to talk to the manager. It's like, yeah, it's not possible because you have to talk, like it's a very democratic project. If you want so, you have to talk to like all the node operators through that process, through the proposal process. We as community, we as participant with our NAS Nano Pro wallet and our NACs, we can vote on nodes that support our ideas and visions. If there is a node that wants to do something awesome that we support, is like very much like a political system that I can give power to as an individual user. I don't know this kind of management process where I, as an individual, have so much power in any other crypto project. For me, like I live in Switzerland. We have a very democratic government as well, probably one of the most democratic ones in the world. Nebulas suits it very much, and it's very nice. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like this project.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Yeah, and so it takes, some people may know the saying, it takes a village and to raise a kid, and so it's a similar philosophy. It takes a community to build a successful project at this point, and so the more involved that people are, the more it gets out there to other people. They share it with other people, and it grows. That's what we need. We just need the continuous growth. So yeah, when comparing to other projects like Link and Ripple, there's no comparison. Ripple is I want to say highly centralized, and Link has not proven itself to do much of anything at this moment yet. So yeah, that's my take on it anyway at the moment. All right, so question is, why don't we post videos every week on YouTube? If the community wants it, we'll do it. I'm pretty sure Dave would be happy to do maybe bi-weekly or something. I'm happy to jump on and support any way I can. So yeah, if that's what we want.
Yeah, maybe we need to keep in mind that the core team is like 30 people. They're like mostly hacking and doing stuff, developing this whole thing. They're just the guys that are giving us this huge, amazing playground. And maybe we as a community need to take care of them and try not to burn them with like letting them do all this social media stuff and taking up some loads off their shoulders and doing some work for them so that they can focus on what they are really good at, which is like developing and creating this whole Nebula space that we are involved in. And we as a community, we outnumber them by far, and we can get so much work done in comparison to what they can do. They're like the specialists, and we like should leave them maybe collect like questions that we want to get answers for, and like schedule a meeting, like a regular meeting with them. But I think we shouldn't bother them with like support questions or like tiny stuff. I think the community can take care of a lot of stuff for those people that are developing this whole thing. Yeah, like I'm community member. I set all this kind of stuff here up, and I hope to see more people getting involved in this kind of way here.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if people want to see more videos, let us know. That's what it is.
I think in the end, they would just want more news, more dopamine, more excitement, more like signs of life, I guess, because for a lot of people, it seems like Nebulas hasn't been very active, but I think a lot of stuff is going on in the background that we do not really see currently. I think there's quite a lot of stuff that we could do to show that Nebula is pretty much alive and kicking, about to take on the world.
Yeah, yeah. I I I'm always surprised when people say they don't see how much Nebulas has done. If you you can look anywhere on what Nebulas publishes, and it's a lot. You know, the Medium articles, they're launching of products. I mean, we can't launch Nebulas can't launch things weekly. You know, it takes time to develop and test and release. People are always welcome to look at the GitHubs. You know, that's not always the best metric, but it does show that virtually every repo there has work done on it often to keep up with development, to keep up with the latest processes. And so they never stop. It just keeps developing, keeps developing. It's just hard to see when people are more focused on the value of it compared to the financial value compared to the intrinsic value that Nebulas has. And so, yeah, that is something we have to work on, just getting more of information out there and just showing how much has been done over the past few years. And, you know, honestly, I haven't thought about it too much until now, how much was really done in the past, I want to say, 2.5 years or so. It's amazing.
There's another very valuable hint, like Chainlink currently holds major seminars. This is a huge impact on positions. I think this is a very great idea. I just copy and pasted it as something that we can look at. In the end, I'm gonna send out like this email to a Telegram channel where we can see what we talked about, some bullet points and what we could tackle as a community. I've just copy and pasted that one.
That's good. And really thinking about that. So during 2018, I was one of the what do they call it? Basically, I went around and I went to hackathons and other events just to share information about Nebulas and to support developers during these hackathons. And so we did have our own meetups and development things. Not as big as what Chainlink is doing, because honestly, Nebulas isn't selling a ton of their own tokens weekly to support those processes. But Nebulas used to really get out there in the community and do a lot. And in Asia, in the Asian market, they still do. They're still out there pushing, not so much in the West right now, just because the market was in such a decline. People weren't that interested, but maybe it might be getting close to getting time to get back out in person in the Western market. It's a big undertaking though, it really is, especially when the main team is located overseas.
Just a question, you were talking about like the involvement in the Eastern Hemisphere, like Asia. Do you have any idea what's going on in Sri Lanka? Because I've been there in holidays and I didn't think like it's a crypto country, but I was pretty surprised that there's quite a lot of stuff going on regarding Sri Lankan proposals and community. Like they set up Telegram channel and all these kinds of, I was kind of surprised to see that. Was curious if somebody knows what they're up to, because I think that's one of the issues as well with Nebulas, that we lay this huge global project and we don't really know what the other guys are doing there on the other side of the world, and what their ideas and takes are.
I talked to the operator of the Sri Lanka community, and so it's a good person. He basically disseminates information to his community and Telegram groups and whatnot. He's even working on getting an AMA hosted with a major exchange and one of the Nebulas core team members, and so hopefully we'll be doing that within a couple of weeks too. And so I don't know how big the Sri Lankan market is for crypto, but it's just nice to see anybody and all these all these different people really pushing for new communities, basically, for Nebulas, yeah. And even if you go to Go Nebulas, a lot of the proposals are for community development in different countries and whatnot. And so, I don't know, maybe one day we could, I don't know if everybody speaks English, but maybe it might be possible to bring all these community managers to one of these meetings. And that'd be really cool to do. So maybe in the future.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I was investigating why, like the Western world, like we guys in Europe, you guys in States are not more active on Nebulas, because it's like pretty much an unknown coin for most of the people here. And I was scratching my head about that, wondering why that is, because it's such an awesome project from my point of view. And I think like the market that you mentioned is one huge factor, because currently a lot, like Americans, they cannot get access to Nebula or to the exchanges, two largest exchanges. They're not open to Americans. And I think this is one of the biggest issues we have right now, because Americans, they're the most active on all kinds of social media channels. Like there are so many statistics on it. I think the whole project, it just feels that lack of American, how can I put it, like excitement or interaction, engagement.
Yeah. And you basically answered the question. It's to me, it's an exchange problem. So right now, Nebulas is not listed on any exchanges in the US. And honestly, I don't know when that's going to change. The US has some very strange rules and guidelines, and all these exchanges are basically afraid to list a lot of different projects. That's why you go to Coinbase, for example, in the US, there's not too many coins when you compare to the 100 something that Binance has. You know, there's 300 something coins on Binance, and where we have maybe 30. It's just, they're very picky. They're very particular in the US, and they don't want to have any problems with any federal agencies. I'm hoping that's going to change at some point in the near future, that the US gets basically their shit together and opens up to these different projects. But to counter that, we have DeFi. And so why go through these centralized exchanges when hopefully in the very near future, we're going to have our own decentralized system where people on Ethereum can buy a wrapped version of NAS, bring it over to the Nebulas mainnet, do whatever they want there, trade tokens on the Nebulas mainnet, and it just creates this new loop that does not require any other third party or any other centralized party, and that's our goal. That should be everyone in the blockchain system goal. Get rid of any external party, external threat, even if you want to call it. Yeah.
All right. Cool. I have so many troubles like saying out his name. Quarush left us. Trinity joined us like during our discussions. I don't know if Trinity has any question or wants to know anything. Like we're just doing an open talk about pretty much anything.
Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to talk, text, whatever.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
Just two of you. My name is Philip, and I'm an early investor in Nebulas, 2017. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a strength conditioning. I try to be active as a strong pet on Reddit. So my question would be, yeah, I was trying to support as much as I could, since I do not know anything about the technology, especially blockchain. But I started as an investor in Ethereum, and I put a lot of my investment into Nebulas when I read the white paper, and it was an amateur point of view, but I liked it, so I invested in it. So my question would be, what do you think that we, as a part of community, that doesn't know anything about blockchain technology could bring something new maybe, or I don't know, help in some way. So for me, I don't see how I could help only by listening or giving some comments or support or something like that. So do you have some idea? I would be glad if I could help in any way. Because my voice, I also suggested something in correlation of contracts in sport, athletes contracts, trying to think something in that direction. But so far, you know, I could only sit and wait and see what is happening, and that's all, and hoping for the best. So if you have any idea how we could contribute, maybe I can start something in that direction.
You already have the right mindset. Like, you joined this meeting, you want to do something, that's already an insane start. And we need a lot more people like you. And you said you have no idea about technology, but that's like the nice thing. You don't really need knowledge about the technology. Let those guys that have knowledge of it do their job. And we that are active on social media, we don't really need to know the inner mechanisms of this whole project, but we can support them, like working together. Like, if there's a thread on Reddit or somewhere, we can post it in Telegram channel and be like, guys, there's a discussion about Nebulas. Just help me with the good arguments. Because it will make it look like there are way more people involved in Nebulas, or like there's a lot more interest. When you're fighting alone, well, you're weak, but together as a community, I think there's a lot that we can do, but we need to coordinate it and yeah, get it off the ground. We need to develop this kind of mindset that together we have huge impact on this project, even if we don't know anything about technology.
Okay, but I tried being active on Twitter also, but I don't have a leverage, you know, as a strength conditioning. I am from Serbia, and Serbia has a good school that is connected to internet technology or any new technology that comes, but there's not, I think, a single guy who is introduced to Nebulas. So me as a strength conditioning coach, a guy from a sport field, I don't have a leverage to, you know, introduce something like this to someone, you know. I don't know how to explain it. I can just say, hey, there's a project on blockchain called Nebulas, go check it out. And this is it. This is where it's over. So
you know what I did, like just a couple of days ago, just to give you an example. At work, we have our trainees and like the young folks, and you would think that those young guys are very much into technology and very curious about new technology. But what I saw is that they know about Bitcoin, they know about crypto, but they're not very familiar with it. They don't really learn about it in school or during training. So I just grabbed one of those trainees and was like, download this app, download NAS Nano Pro. I was like, what is it for? Just do it. And I set up a wallet with the trainee. Was like, okay, here, show me your QR code. And was like, what? I really don't. I was like, this crypto, this is new. You need to know this in the future. It's going to be relevant. Just wait and look and wait and see. And I transferred like 10 Nebulas, 10 NAS to this trainee, and he could like observe how the money is going from my phone to his phone in real time. And he was like, wow, this was so fast. And I was now look at the fees. It was like a 0.0001 US dollar or something, like nothing. There was no fee at all to transfer this money. And the trainee was like, oh, wow, okay. But the really funny thing is that like all the people on the table, they were like observing what's going on and very interested. And so one of the guys was like, maybe Dave, could you give me an introduction as well to this kind of stuff? And I was like, sure. I think this kind of stuff we can do and just show it to people how it works, what it means. I even tasked the trainee to show the other trainees or to transfer some NAS to the other trainee's phone. So now he has like a responsibility to get Nebulas wallet set up on the other trainee's phone. Make sure that they don't listen to 12 mnemonic words, like make backup of all this kind of stuff. It was like, yeah, write it on paper, never ever show it to anyone, do not lose it, put it in a safe place. You will need it if you break your phone. And now the trainee is showing it around as well. So I kind of activate him if you want to. And I think there's a lot of stuff like that that we could do to contribute, because the interest definitely is there. People just don't know how to do it. I think entry level is quite high for Nebulas, and there I see some opportunities and where we could like create content, videos, guides, manuals, all this kind of stuff. Kirish also mentioned it for Link, I think, those webinars or trainings. Yeah, Chainlink currently holds major seminars. It's going in the same direction.
Well, that was a great story. I really like that, Dave. So yeah, and so Peter, that's a really good example. It's like Dave, while he doesn't need to know the technical stuff. It was just somebody next to him, and he just shared what Nebulas can do in a matter of a few minutes, and who knows where that goes. It could be a snowball effect, and so you show it to one person, that one person's like, oh, this is really cool. I had no idea it could be that simple, that easy, and then it just goes on and on. That's a great example of a local development system, local development of a community, and that's definitely important. That's really good. Yeah. I know you mentioned like online, and that gets tricky. I mean, if you don't have a big following on Twitter, it's hard to get your message out there. I completely get that. I would suggest, regardless, there's no harm of liking, retweeting, sharing your own thoughts and opinions. You don't know whose feed it's going to end up on, and I think that's kind of the point of just Twitter in general. You don't know where it's going to end up, so there's no harm in just sharing what you think, what you know. Starting new conversations like on the subreddit cryptocurrency or those type of places. There's no harm in doing that. Say, hey, I just created a proposal on Go Nebulas. Want to know what you guys think about it. Things like that. There's no harm in trying. That's basically what I think. So another question. I agree, Nebula's wallets are really different from other currency wallets for all its conveniences. The NAS transfer is not as strong as it used to be. Not as strong. As expensive? I'm not sure. But yeah, the NAS Nano Pro wallet, it's one of the best individual blockchain wallets out there, I would have to think. I've downloaded a few, and or more than a few, and it's definitely one of the easiest to use. And as Dave was saying, the fees are virtually nothing to do transactions on Nebulas. Yeah. All right. So
we've been talking for 1.5 hours already.
Yeah.
We started like with you and me, and I didn't think we're gonna last that long, and I'm surprised that we keep going. I think we could go all night. Not sure. I think we just will do this again. It's a nice format, and not sure. Let's ask the community, and we'll upload video. I recorded this. Maybe I will edit it. I'm not very experienced in editing this stuff, but I'll give it a try and share it, and then let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I have sorry to interrupt. I have one more question. I wasn't there from the beginning, so I don't know if you went through that. There's always a mention about marketing, poor marketing, or I don't know, not enough marketing from the core team of Nebulas. So I'm interested your point of view, how that when the white paper was out, there was a huge buzz about Nebulas, if I can recall, and we could see a lot of guys from Nebulas, from Hitters Zoo and some other guys. They were present, or a lot. I think you did some live with him, right, Dustin? If I remember.
Yep.
So
did a few. Yep.
and that buzz created, was it like 60 million in ICO or something like that, which was huge in that point of view. I'm not speaking about the money. I'm speaking about the community that gathered about around the paper, and now the Nebulas has the working blockchain, and we cannot, or you cannot, or they cannot, because I'm not doing anything actually, so it's not fair to judge, but it's not possible to create that kind of buzz. And now you have, like you said, you have a roadmap behind you that you develop so many things. So I'm not, this is like, it doesn't have any logic in my head, you know. Do you have some answer? Do you have your own logic behind this, or I don't know, your point of view or something like that? So help me understand, why is this so different? Because I was thinking about it. Is it genius? So they are waiting for the right moment to come out, when they're ready, when they think the technology is right or the moment is right, and I'm okay with that. Or option number two, they want the community to be active and do the stuff, because this is a community-based project, it's decentralized, so everybody should, do something for the project. Or it's something third that is completely opposite. So this is what I, as a random guy from sport, cannot, understand why the path is like this. So if you can give us your insights, or Dave, I would appreciate it.
Well, I'm just one guy like you, a community member. One thing that I saw back in the days in 2017 is that a lot of people on YouTube, they were trying to spotlight the next big thing that will explode, and we had a lot of those videos. And usually, I don't know if even like Ian Bellina mentioned Nebulas. I don't really recall, but there were a lot of guys out there. Charles Reviews, he did like awesome reviews. His channel is completely gone, but there were like a lot of guys trying to identify and probably to like get followers. Of course, that was their motivation, get followers on their social media. And then the whole thing collapsed, and all those guys that were just gone. And this was a lot of pre-marketing that is just washed away and not here anymore, because the excitement from back then is entirely gone, as far as I can tell. Or it moved to some other place. But maybe Dustin has another take on that.
Yeah, so I can tell you, I learned about Nebulas in January of 2018. So financially, almost the worst possible time, but that's okay. And yeah, it's what we've seen in crypto time and time again are cycles. So it's the continuous up and down cycle, and so that the boom to bust ecosystem we've been living in, believe it or not, and this has been going on since almost the beginning of crypto. Since Bitcoin started, it's been this way. And so that 2017 time, early 2018 time, it was insane. Like all of a sudden, like the light bulb went off in all these different projects, and they're like, we can do what Bitcoin and Ethereum did, and we can do it better. We can do it different. We can do something to make it, you know, phenomenal, and create a crazy amount of hype and to fund the projects. And so you were asking specifically, like there was all this hype, and where basically you're saying, where did it go? And it didn't necessarily go anywhere. It's that the people hyping the projects, just like as Dave said, a lot of them disappeared. Some of them are popping back up now that the market's, you know, trying to push back up. And everybody was just looking for that next coin, the next Bitcoin, the next Ethereum. And Nebulas showed a lot of promise to be that next project, because it had good backing. You know, Hideo, he started or co-founded Neo, and worked at Google, and you know, all these different parts, you know, lined up. One of the other founders also helped with Neo and shares, and it just created like what people thought is a secure investment. And what blockchain has shown people time and time again is that there's no such thing as a secure investment in anything blockchain related. We never know where the market's going to go, and what the influencers in the space are going to hype next, unless of course you pay them a lot of money. And that's not something I ever heard Nebulas do, is pay these people money to hype the project. I've never been privy to that. I don't know anything about that. I don't think they did. And it's basically their whim on what they want to talk about, and the market follows even to this day. And that's something we actually need to move away from, is trusting our opinions of projects on these influencers. Instead, we need to do our own research. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work researching projects. I get that, but it's rewarding in not just you know, possibly finding the next big thing, but educational wise too. We learn a lot about blockchain in general just from reading virtually any white paper. You can learn a lot about blockchain technology. And so that itself is rewarding. And so now the other part you're talking about is marketing. And so I really don't know when, you know, we can expect the next big marketing push from Nebulas. That's not for me to say. And I'm hoping sooner than later. You know, the core team definitely looks to the community to support, spread the message, get more people into the ecosystem. And so that's really important. Like, you know, even this video right here, just communicating is extremely important, and we need to do more of, and just keep pushing along. I wouldn't even honestly know what a large-scale marketing campaign for Nebulas would look like at this moment. What's the primary focus of that would be? I mean, you look at Bitcoin, there was no marketing campaign. Look at Ethereum, there was no marketing campaign, just funding. And it's tricky. The only thing I could think about, like, you know, you look like a Chainlink, Kurish mentioned a couple of times, and their marketing pretty much is hyping themselves like on 4chan and places like that. And honestly, Nebulas is better than that. We're not going to be you know, fudding and BSing on these places trying to artificially increase the value, because the value is in the system, is in the structure, and the value is already there. Our job now is just to keep sharing information about Nebulas.
Can you envision that, like, mining in Nebulas will get professionalized as well? Because right now it's in the hand of individuals, and we saw that in like Bitcoin too back in the days, people mining on their graphic cards and like individuals. But then it moved on to those insane mining farms that we saw like in China, and this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. You got very professional. Do you see that happening in Nebulas as well?
Well,
Somewhere
no,
in future?
because you know, I hope not. Right? You know, Nebulas is pretty much a modified version of delegated proof of stake, and so that removes the need for hardware miners and the need for sucking down an immense amount of energy for virtually no reason. Like I'm pro Bitcoin, as you can see in my corner here, but I do have a problem with the consumption of energy it uses. And I do also envision one day far in the future, Bitcoin there's much more efficient, to a lot less miners, and basically just profiting off fees rather than minting the block rewards. And so be interesting to see long term. That's a very long term anyway. So no, I don't see hardware miners coming to Nebulas because of those reasons. We actually can though envision professional mining pools, because we actually do have a few of those on Nebulas now. We have Gate.io, big exchange, running on Nebulas. We have Everstake, which is a huge company running a node. We have I can't even remember all of them, but there's quite a few.
Huobi is on there as well now.
Say that
Huobi.
again. I'm sorry.
Huobi is on there as well.
Yeah. And so it professionals are taking notice and are setting up nodes on Nebulas. It's easy. It's not that difficult, and the rewards is pretty good. It's fair. It's definitely fair.
The rewards are very good. I mean, I suppose I was initially a little bit critical about the move from the test net to the main net. And as a node operator, I was a bit disappointed with the rewards from what I was seeing in the test net. But since then, I've sort of modified what I'm doing, and I've got a hybrid approach, which is to run my node and then also delegate my NACs to some of the other nodes as well. And look, to be honest with you, it's very good. That the profitability is awesome, which I said on Telegram yesterday. So, and I think people are skeptical and don't understand the numbers. And if they did, they'd probably be, you know, more open to being involved as well. So I think people are skeptical, but the numbers are real. Yeah, I mean, the returns are very good. The only thing we're missing is some price action in the coin. And then when that happens, and on top of that, you're getting the rewards that you're currently getting, just either by running a node or delegating your NACs. It's very good. It's very good. All the pieces are in place there, you know. And I think people going back to the question about mining. Do we need to mine? No, we don't, because we've got this. You can provide your inputs and get a return back without having to set up your own hardware. And I think we're at that inflection point with the number of nodes that are running now. Now that we've got the 51 nodes, that they're all independent nodes. So I think in 6 months' time, we're going to have probably another 5 or 10 nodes potentially, and then people will start vying for that place. So at the moment, as an example, my node, I've only left a minimal amount of NACs on there, to keep it running, because as I say, the rewards are very good, and you're part of the governance cycle as well, which is profitable. But I think in 3 to 6 months, when there's some additional nodes, I'll have to start stacking more NACs on there just to stay on that 51 level. So I think as more nodes come on, they'll start vying to become be in that governance cycle, and I think that will have an effect on the price of NACs, and it'll start to move along as well. So I think the pod, the decentralization, I think, has been really successful. Again, the team did a great job. They've delivered what they said they would. There's a profitable sort of economy happening there if you want to be involved with it now, and I think it's very good profit. So ticking all the boxes. Yeah.
And so just something came to my mind, like we didn't see growth in community in like high numbers. I think we even saw a decrease in activity in Telegram channel during the last couple of weeks, but that wasn't the case for the nodes. Like in the last month or so, we were at 65 nodes, and I think now we're like at 70 or 71. That's like almost 10% increase on nodes level of operators, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of
Especially
activity
when you
going on there.
consider, yeah, especially when you consider what it takes to be a node, 20,000 NAS. I mean, right now that's not worth a lot, but, for people that bought it in early, Mark in. So it's a fair amount of funds to put into a project, and plus all the NACs, or, if you're going to delegate your rewards, whatever. But yeah, it shows that the ecosystem is logical, functioning, and good.
Yes. Exactly. And look, I've been on board for a while as well, Dustin. So I feel your pain with, obviously the pricing and all that. But I think what they've built has provided an opportunity to keep me in, because, I can dollar cost average down every day. My, dollar cost is averaging down, and I become, the longer I stay in, the more positive it becomes as well, even though I have been involved for a while as well. So I think that that's a positive design element of the platform as well.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Mm-hmm.
So I think they've designed lots of clever stuff that people just don't quite understand. It keeps sort of, it's sort of the layers sort of unravel, and even for me, who's been around for a little while with Nebulas, it's just from this pod decentralization strategy, the layers have sort of unpeeled over a few months, and then I can see develop the view that I've got now, which is probably a lot more positive than what it was when the test net finished and the main net went live. So so that's I suppose a credit to what the team's designed.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not enough credit is given to them, how hard they've worked.